actions the Prophet ﷺ would do to find comfort during times of difficulty. When life is difficult, when life is full of stress, what are the de-stressing techniques from the seerah? And because of time, I've only listed 4 or 5 of them. Otherwise, obviously, this lecture I've given much longer seminars and much more detail, but it's just a summary of a much more longer talk. Number one is dhikr of Allah. And especially the dhikr of Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. In fact, the Quran tells us, الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. Next time a calamity happens, next time a tragedy comes into your life, go back, whenever it happens, go back and rewind your memory. See, how long did it take from getting the news of the calamity to you saying, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un? There's going to be a gap. There's going to be a gap. Listen to me carefully. The stronger your iman, the smaller the gap. The weaker your iman, the longer the gap. You want to know how strong your iman is? Rewind the memory tape in your head and see how long did it take you to remember Allah after you heard of a tragedy. Days, hours, minutes. Look at the seerah. Ibrahim, the baby, passes away. The minute, rather the second, the Malak al-Maut takes his ruh. The Prophet looks up and says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Zero lag between what he said and the tragedy. The same second that his son passes away, he turns to Allah, he thinks of Allah. This is what sabr is. And the longer you take, this is the reality, the weaker our iman. So, number one, when tragedy happens, turn to Allah and say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. What does this phrase mean? Inna lillahi. All of us belong to Allah. So whatever has been taken away from me, it wasn't mine. It was Allah's. And Allah has the right to take it back. Allah created this loved one that has been taken away. My loved one passed away, my mother, my son, my daughter, my brother, my friend had passed away. I have to remind myself, I didn't create that person. Allah is the creator. I'm not the Malik, Allah is the Malik. I'm not the Rabb, Allah is the Rabb. So if Allah is the Rabb, Allah has the right to take back what He created. It's not mine, it is Allah's. So we remind ourselves, Inna lillah. But then we bring some comfort as well. Whatever Allah took away, Allah is going back to Allah, wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And I too will go back to Allah. So I will be reunited. It's not a permanent loss. It is not a permanent separation. Whatever has been taken away. If it's a person, inshallah, you'll be reunited with that person in the akhirah. And if it is something else, health or wealth or whatever, Allah will give you better in the akhirah than what has been taken away. So, وَإِنَّ لِرَاجِعُونَ, it brings us comfort that there's something to look forward to. Inna lillah, it makes us submissive and humble, not arrogant. It's not mine. وَإِنَّ لِرَاجِعُونَ, it brings us optimism. I have something to look forward to. So this is number one, dhikr of Allah. Number two, and it is also a type of dhikr, but it's a different type, tilawat al-Qur'an. وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ لِمَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. Shifa. The Quran is a shifa. The Quran is a cure for the heart. And reciting the Quran brings about peace to the heart. And in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, authentic hadith, O Allah, make the Quran the spring of my heart, the light of my eyes, and what takes away my worry. جَلَاءَ أَحْزَانِنَا وَذَهَابَ غُمُّمِنَا وَهُمُّمِنَا. O Allah, make the Quran that which takes my grief and my anxiety away. So tilawat al-Quran brings comfort to the heart. This is number two. Number three, salah. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. Seek the help of Allah during times of tragedy with sabr. I already talked about sabr. وَالصَّلَاةِ. And our mother Aisha radiallahu anha said, anytime something worried the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would stand up for salah. How different our lives and his life. Many of us, when we are worried, we just log on to social media to numb our minds. When we're worried, we turn on the television, we want to change our minds. No. The mu'min turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and finds comfort in salah. And take this advice from me and try it yourselves. Next time something is worrying you, do wudu, stand up to pray. And especially when you go into sajda, just stop there for a while. Just do an extra long sajda, 10, 20, 30, 40 seconds, a minute. Just stay there and say, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. Just feel the sweetness of prostrating and sajda to Allah. I swear to you, when you lift your head, I'm not saying your worry will go away, but I am saying the weight of the burden will be a little bit less. Just a little bit less. And every time you do sajda, that burden will be just a little bit less. You will find the sweetness of salah and the comfort that salah brings to you. And your worries will gently, slowly be lifted. I'm not saying they're going to go away, but you will find comfort in salah. Allah is telling you, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. So this is number what? 3. Some of you are taking notes, but most of you, it looks like, have good memories. You will memorize, mashallah. No problem, inshallah. Take the notes from those that are taking the notes. So number 4. So we said dhikr, we said Quran, we said salah. Number 4, dua. Dua is the weapon of the believer. Dua is the primary mechanism of how you communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dua is the direct channel between you and Allah. During times of difficulty, during times of stress, when life becomes very, very sour, raise your hands to Allah and beg Allah and plead to Allah and ask Allah to make that issue easy for you. Dua is direct call between you and Allah. And you will feel comfort because of that phone call. It is a direct call. Direct. Allah hears you. وَإِذَا سَلَكَ عِبَادِ عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ Mujib. Allah is qareeb. Allah is mujib. Allah is samir. So when you ask Allah, have certainty Allah is hearing you. And Allah is listening to you. And Allah will respond to your dua. Now, much can be said about dua. I have a book about dua. Somebody showed me yesterday, it has been translated into Bangla as well. It is available in Bangla. I don't know the publisher, but it's Dua, the Weapon of the Believer. It's available in English. It's also available in Bangla as well. And it is a comprehensive book about the etiquettes of dua. And I also have a series of lectures online about the etiquettes of dua. But I just want to make one point over here. All too often, we don't understand the spirit of dua. And we think that what is important is what we say and not how we say it. And we are more worried about the wording than we are worried about our heart. And this is a fundamental problem, the biggest mistake. We are not thinking good thoughts of Allah when we are assuming that what is important is the structure of what I'm saying. And this is wrong. SubhanAllah, I give you a funny anecdote that is very common, unfortunately. That somebody will come to me or any sheikh and say, Sheikh, I have such and such a situation. Teach me a dua I can make for this situation. Thinking that specific dua is what will solve the problem. And one case, I remember, an ITG came to me in America. And you know, in America we have a very difficult exam to get into medical school. It's called MCAT exam. Very difficult exam, right? And the MCAT, it has many sections. So Auntie G comes to me and she says, Sheikh Saab, my son has taken MCAT 3 times, he's failed. Organic chemistry, he always fails it. Is there a dua that I can make so that my son passes the organic chemistry in the MCAT exam? She thinks that us imams and shuyukh, we have a special secret 100-volume book, the du'as of specific situation. And in volume 77, du'as of the mother. Chapter 22, MCAT du'as. Section 16, what to make organic chemistry in the MCAT du'a for the mother. And special secret cryptic code, only I have access to it. I look it up and I write on a chickpea, give it to the auntie ji. Auntie ji, this is the dua. Ah, mashallah, jazakallah. And she goes, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Do you really think that what you say is what is important? Make dua from your heart. That is what is important. Make dua in your language, because that is the most fluent. What you say from your qalb. This is what Allah is concerned with. Not the verbs, not the nouns, not the structure. And all the scholars have said that dua can be done in any language. We're not talking about salah, Quran, of course that's Arabic. Dua, any language, you do not have to make dua only in Arabic. You make dua in your mother language, the language that you are fluent in. Make dua from your own qalb. That is the most powerful dua. So we said, number 1 is dhikr, number 2 Quran, number 3 salah, number 4 dua. To conclude, I'll teach you number 5. There's more to be said, I'll teach number 5. Number 5 is the combination of all 4 together. And it is the most powerful antidote to anxiety and stress. The number 1 mechanism to combat the difficulties of life is to do 1, 2, 3, 4 all together in the best time, the best place, the best manner. And that is Salat al-Tahajjud. Salat al-Tahajjud is dhikr and Quran and Salah and Dua all combined in one. There is nothing that will bring you more comfort in your difficulties of life than Salat al-Tahajjud. Nothing. There is nothing that will make life easier to battle the stress of life than Salat al-Tahajjud. And our Prophet ﷺ was commanded by Allah to pray Tahajjud because his life would get difficult. This is in the second revelation, the second surah that came down. Ya ayyuhal muzammil, qum al-layla illa qalila. نصفه أو انقص منه قليلا أو زد عليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا إنا سنلقي عليك قولا ثقيلا. We're going to give you a heavy burden. You had better pray tahajjud after that. Notice the linkage. Life will get difficult. Life will not be easy. So make sure you are praying tahajjud. This is the reality of tahajjud. Tahajjud gives you strength. Tahajjud gives you peace. Tahajjud gives you sakina. Tahajjud gives you sabr. Tahajjud gives you iman. Nothing makes your difficulties easier than Salat al-Tahajjud. And I know Tahajjud is difficult. So my advice to myself and all of you, if you cannot pray Tahajjud every single night, then schedule it regularly, at least a few nights of the month. Once a week, twice a week, once a month, schedule it. Put it into your calendar that this is the day or this is the night, regularly I'm going to pray tahajjud. Make some habit, because some tahajjud is better than no tahajjud. And if you can do more, then it is even better than that. And tahajjud is super easy. Half an hour before Fajr, 1 hour before Fajr, 20 minutes before Fajr. Just wake up and go to the corner of the room and pray 2 rak'ah, 4 rak'ah, 6 rak'ah, 8 rak'ah. Doesn't matter, tahajjud is nothing. There's no quantity. You can pray as much and as little as you want. Tahajjud is nothing. So pray as much as little as you want. Just pray in the middle of the night. The last third of the night is the ideal time of tahajjud. The ideal time of tahajjud. Our Prophet ﷺ said, every single night, Allah Himself descends to the lower heavens. And Allah announces to the angels, who is there praying? I shall listen to him. Who is there asking? I shall give him. Who is there making requests? I shall answer his requests. subhanallah, it is as if Allah is announcing to all of you and me, I have private office hours. If you want, come and I will listen to you. And yet we are sleeping and not having those private hours. If you really want something from Allah, and all of us need, then why are you not knocking when Allah's doors are open? Why are you not asking when Allah is saying, I will give you whatever you want? So wake up in that portion of the night. Struggle to get over your sleepiness and go and do wudu and go to the corner of a house that nobody knows you are there, and just between you and Allah, open up your heart. Do the tilawah of the Quran. Fall into sajda. Make dua to Allah in your own language. Make dua and beg Allah to make that difficulty easy for you. And I guarantee you, you will see the effects of that tahajjud in your daily life. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ never stopped praying tahajjud. Even in his travel, he would never stop praying tahajjud. Tahajjud was his regular routine because Allah commanded him to do so. So, to summarize, and then we'll open the floor for questions. Understand, O Muslim, that the seerah teaches us that life is not going to be easy. Who told you life is going to be easy? The seerah teaches us that, in fact, as a rule, the more beloved you are to Allah, the more difficult life will be. This is a rule. There are always exceptions, right? There's always exceptions. But as a rule, when Allah loves somebody, He tests them. And so if you are tested, do not think it is adab. Think it is Allah's opportunity to raise your ranks. And if you are tested, find comfort that our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was tested more than me and you. You're in good company. You're in his company. If you are tested, then people better than you were tested more than you. So find comfort in the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ and understand, just like he was tested financially, you are tested financially. He was tested with family, you are tested with family. He was tested with persecution, you are tested with persecution. He was tested at every level, and you are being tested at a much less level than him. So find comfort in that. And then realize there is wisdom in tests. Allah is not testing you just for punishment. No, a'udhu billah. Allah is testing you to cleanse. Allah is testing you to forgive your sin. Allah is testing you to raise your ranks up. This is why you are being tested. Like the Prophet ﷺ was tested to raise him up to the highest level. That is why you are being tested. So find comfort in this and understand the response to the test must be shown by turning to Allah, strengthening your iman, understanding that Allah has a plan. You don't know the plan. You don't understand the plan, but you understand Allah has the plan. Is that clear, right? You don't understand the plan, okay, no problem. But you understand Allah has the plan. And whatever Allah has planned, alhamdulillah, He is my Mawla. Huwa Mawlana. قُلْ لَنْ يُصِيبَنَا إِلَّا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا هُوَ مَوْلَانَا. Nothing will happen to me or you except that Allah has decreed it, and Allah is my Mawla. Whatever my Mawla decides, it is better for me, even if I don't understand that. And then with sabr, you link your pain, your grief, your anxiety, you link it to the rewards of the hereafter. And you expect Allah to reward you. And you try your best to change the situation. But if it doesn't work, you still accept Allah's qadr. And you have full yaqeen that on the day of judgment, you will see the effects and the fruits of your patience. And what Allah will give you is much more than what has been taken away from you. And what Allah will bless you with will make all of the pains and difficulties worth it of your life if you have sabr. And this is what the seerah teaches us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those who understand the seerah of the Prophet and implement it in our daily lives. And with this, inshallah, we open the floor for questions, inshallah. All the moderating activities.